The Saints are in Nashville this week, and it could be another weather apocalypse game. Thomas, hit that intro.
Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. We never skip a drink day.
Budrich wants to know how the doctor's doing.
That ended.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hard Hide, Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey, and Chilton County Peach Whiskey. I just want to let people know we delivered every single piece of content to our patrons that we promised them, even during the holiday week. Support the show, leave a comment on YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us. And if you're watching this on YouTube for free, or you're listening to the audio only version, support the podcast. Go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. We have a special offer for first time patrons, annual subscription, 50% off. Do it. Treat yourself something nice for the holiday season. All right, I got Thomas running the show back in Poland. I got Cody. He's a Black and Gold level member, and he got to be a co-host because that's a perk of being a Black and Gold member if we need somebody to fill in. And we needed somebody to fill in for the main show and for this show because Kevin and Andrew and Dave are all scattered to the wind for the holidays. So, thank you for joining me, Cody. Here's the thing that's really fascinating to me. It might be only fascinating to me, but look, the weather in Nashville is going to be rain, 75% chance of rain, but the Saints, for the first time in a while, they're not going to play a cold weather game. Like, Nashville's got a cold front coming, and that's the rain, but it doesn't hit until the nighttime.
Sure,
so it's going to be like 60 degrees at kickoff and potentially raining, so it could be nasty. But it's going to be the first time, like, the Saints aren't going to have to break out the cold weather gear. We aren't going to see Kellen Moore in the parka and the long johns and all that. So, like, it's so interesting only to me. Like, the Saints, no cold weather games, and the Saints are even though they're a dome team, they're traditionally not bad in cold weather. They have some fun memories, but I find it interesting. No cold weather games this year for the Saints, Cody.
No, that's unfortunate. It just sucks that it's no cold weather games making a playoff run. You know.
Yeah, and listen, as the Titans are bad, but I would say the Titans are very similar to where the Saints are in that, look, they need a coach, obviously, but yes. Cam Ward kind of come on. Like they have a bunch of injuries on offense. They're missing their center. Their wide receivers stink. Really got hurt, and they drop. And like a lot of the Cam Ward highlights you see is like him do something incredible, throw a laser beam, and the receiver drops it.
Drops it.
But he's been sacked 50 times. But like they're playing good. Like they're still playing hard for the interim coach. And I'll say this, like Tennessee, go ahead.
They won 2 of their last 3.
Yeah. And listen, I know their owner is a crazy woman, and potentially they could do something stupid. They already fired Mike Vrabel. That was pretty dumb. But I'm just here to tell you, like, I know people are ranking the head coaching positions that will come open in this offseason, and like Barnwell had the Raiders ranked number 1 and all this. I'm telling you, Nashville, if Nashville is going to be willing to pay top dollar, they're going to be the most attractive job. And I'm going to tell you why. 1, you got your quarterback. Mm-hmm. 2, Nashville is a really cool place to live.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that matters. That matters to coaches' wives. Like, and you say, well, a lot of fans will be like, oh, it doesn't matter because the family will go wherever the coach gets the job. Yes, that is true. But if you're a coach and you're high on the wish list, like if Stefanski gets fired or Harbaugh, and you got options, and you're like, I can go to City A or City B, and I've got options. Nashville is a really nice place, and your family's going to like living there. I just think Nashville is going to be a very attractive job. But to the Titans, like, it wasn't supposed to be this way for the Titans. Like, they had a second-year coach they really liked, and they were until about a month ago, I would say, an unmitigated disaster. But like the Saints, they kind of climbed out of the muck. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, they were dumpster fire. Like, they were for sure number 1 overall pick, just cruising for it.
And here's the thing that's interesting with with Kellen Moore, and I think the Jets game sort of gives us a peek into his mindset and how he's acted. Look, the Jets defense was worse than the Titans, the run defense. The Titans, they give up 4.5 yards a carry. They've given up,
good Lord,
and 1,700. They've given up 19 rushing touchdowns. Like their rush defense is 28th. Jets were worse, but I think Kellen Moore's come to the conclusion, Cody. He's like, we can't run the ball on anybody. We couldn't run the ball against Atlanta, who's last. We couldn't win, and it's the Jets. He was like, look, all my running backs are gone. I'm not even trying this bullshit. Like we're just Tyler Shough. It's on you. They went into against a bottom 5 rushing defense at home and threw the ball with Tyler Shough 50 times in a game. They only trailed 3-0 early and led the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So like, I think, Cody, I think it's fair to say the Saints they aren't even going to attempt to, we're going to establish the run against the crappy Titans run defense. Nah, man. They're going to let Tyler Shough throw it for good or bad.
Our guards can't establish crap. You know, how many times we try to get a push for 1 yard or half yard and haven't gotten crap. All of our best runs have come on the outside or because Shough's running it. I expect this game to look a lot like the second Saints Tampa game did because that game was a prudential downpour. Now, granted, we had Neal then, and Neal kind of was coming on. It's just going to depend on how Shough's hips feeling because Shough really opened that up on his legs. Because if you remember, he didn't throw a touchdown pass that game. It was all legs. So we'll have to see that. And it also depends on the condition of the field too, because you don't want another Washington Redskins situation happen where the grass is like in there in name only, and everyone's blowing out every tendon they've got.
That's right. I mean, basically, I've seen enough from the Saints. I mean, I'd love them to win. It would be fun. It would be fun if Tyler Shough was awesome these last 2 games, and you finish 7-10, and he gets to be Rookie of the Year. Like that would be amazing. It would be super cool. I think though, if he just has one more good game, like he's probably going to be at the NFL awards and he'll be a Rookie of the Year finalist. Which to me, the fact the Saints picked him at 40, like that's already a huge win for the Saints, right?
It's huge.
But the main thing is just get everybody healthy, or if you're gonna get nicked, nothing that's like gonna, like they said, Brissy and Foster Moreau, they're injured. They're probably not gonna play the rest of the year. But like nothing that's gonna affect 2026. That's what we don't want. But the Titans, their offense is bad, and it's interesting. The thing that's interesting about them though is, listen, their 2 top receivers, Gunnar Helm is a tight end. He's caught 43 passes. This guy. Chig Azim Akanakua, he's their leading receiver. He's got 51 catches. He's got only 500 yards. That's how bad their passing offense is. The thing is with the Titans, though, Tony Pollard, he's 50 yards away from 1,000. And I know 1,000 yards doesn't mean as much as it did because you go into the 17-game schedule. But like the Titans, I don't think Mike McCoy's making a case for himself to be the full-time coach, but he's definitely got the Mike Rizzi, Darren Rizzi, where he's improved a lot because the Titans before McCoy, they're fighting. So this game, and it's really interesting. I just find it fascinating where like 5-6 weeks ago, I joked it was going to be an OnlyFans nothing but ass game, and it was like everybody had it circled like Titans Saints, losers getting the number 1 pick. Now you look at Tankathon, Tennessee's picking 5th, Saints picking 8th. So like they're like Andy Dufresne, like right? They're out of the muck.
Yeah, out of it. Done. They're celebrating.
And I really believe that the Titans, they have a ton of cap space. And listen, I've always said cap space doesn't sink you and it can't save you. But the Titans, if they get one more good performance out of Cam Ward and they hire a Kevin Stefanski, a John Harbaugh, that kind of coach, they'll feel as good as we're going to feel going into this offseason with the Saints, right?
Yep.
And I think when you look at the teams picking in the top 10, Giants, Vegas, Cleveland, Jets, Titans, Cardinals, Redskins, Saints, Bengals, Miami, I would say the only team that you can 100% maybe say feels better than the Saints would maybe be Cincinnati or Washington, Cody. But Washington, Jaden Daniels, he's been hurt. Their defense is old as dirt all over the place. And Cincinnati, you still got Mike Brown as your owner. You still got Zach Taylor as your coach, and Joe Burrow is hurt all the time.
But he's always hurt. But remember, he had like that weird players only meeting, and like Jamar Chase was saying, like, I won't tell you what he said. Like he's going through some mental stuff. So that's bad. But yeah, if you have what is this Cincinnati? Mike Brown, the Cincinnati owner. Yeah. I remember I read something about him how. When you play for the Bengals, you have an account card, like a charge card. And like if you want to get like a Gatorade or a snack, everything's in vending machines. And like it comes out of your paycheck. Like they don't just have like a freezer or a refrigerator. You just grab a water bottle. Like everything you take is like you have to pay for. Like nickels and dimes.
They reuse Doc's cups.
Everything. Yes.
But I just look at the top 10. I would say if we went on top 10's vibes going in the offseason, I would say Saints 1, Tennessee 2, and probably, even though they're an absolute disaster, the Jets 3, or Cleveland 3, and the Jets 4, just because they both are loaded up with picks, right?
Well, I was thinking it's because you had Dart and then you got Scatterboo, and that's just fun to watch, because Dart was doing way better when Scatterboo was still alive.
Like, thing is, Jackson Dart threw for 33 yards last week, and I don't care. I don't care. They're like, well, he had drops and this and that. Dude, you threw for
33 yards is bad.
33 fucking yards. Like, that's horrible. And I just think, like, Jackson Dart, he initially looked a lot better than I thought he would look.
Well, he needed day ball.
But my man, he is too reckless. Like that style, it ain't gonna work. It's not working now. But so I just find it fascinating that the Titans and the Saints are in a feel good spot.
No, it's good to have a quarterback of the future on a rookie deal. That's invaluable.
Yeah, as far as this game goes, I'm really like the Juwan Johnson connection with Shough. He's at 70 catches, and he had eight catches. He had 8 catches against the Jets. Can he get to 85 catches for the year?
I think so. Because who else is Shough going to throw to? It's Olave and Juwan Johnson. I mean, like, that's it. You got Kevin Austin Jr., Mason Tipton, but come on, let's be honest. Like, if you look at Shough's target rate, it's Juwan Johnson and Chris Olave. That's who he's forcing it to.
Yeah, and listen, the crazy thing with this is the Juwan Johnson contract got a lot of heat from the Saints fans.
I gave it a lot of heat when I first saw it. I'm like, really?
And to me, though, it's another feather in Kellen Moore's cap, because Kellen Moore was the driving force in that. Juwan Johnson was like, I thought I was gone. They hadn't really talked to me. My agent was looking around other teams. I didn't think the Saints were really interested. And Kellen Moore personally called up Juwan and was like, I want you here. I have a vision for you. I'd like you to stay. I think you can be a big part of what we're doing. And granted, the Saints paid more than we expected, but like it worked. It's worked, right?
It's working.
So like,
especially working with Shough.
Yeah, it's worked with Shough, and it was working pretty good with Rattler too. So like that gives me hope with Kellen Moore that like he can evaluate the personnel and he can fit guys. And he can look at a guy and say, I can work with him. He can fit into what I'm going to do. And the reason that's so important is we know the Mickey Loomis model. he's going to defer to Kellen Moore.
Yes.
Kellen Moore wanted Shough. He got Shough. And so the Saints defer to the head coach. So the head coach, his evaluation in personnel, in the draft, in free agency, it matters a ton. Now, and of course, it matters for other teams as well. But other teams like the Eagles, Howie Roseman runs that shit.
Darth
Right? He'll overrule, right? The guy for the Rams whose name my brother, fuck them picks. He's in charge.
Yes.
There's certain teams where the GM is the guy, the driving force.
Just sit down. I got this.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, no, I was agree with you. Those teams, the GM is tells the coach, you sit down. I got this.
Yeah.
This is my job, not yours. Get out of here.
And the Saints don't do that. I mean, Mickey Loomis tries to build consensus, but what if it's a tie? The coach is going to get his way. Mm-hmm. So to me, the fact that they were so good in the offseason with free agency and that sort of thing, it gives me hope with Kellen Moore, and Juwan Johnson's just another feather in his cap. And Juwan Johnson, look, he still can't block. He's not a real tight end. But let me tell you something. If he was going into free agency and let's say he catches 80, let's say he catches 5 and 5 the next 2 weeks, an 80 catch tight end, even if he can't block, that is not a $10 million a year player.
No, not
that
at
is
all.
a $13 to $15 million player. Year player. Then maybe he wouldn't get.
It's a top 10 tight end in the league.
Yeah, and free agency, people are that. They're oh, it's a. I'm that's a 50 catch tight end cost you $8 to $10 million if in free agency, dude. Blocking tight ends that catch 15 balls are getting $6 million a year on multi-year deals. And the thing is now with the not to get all nerdy with people, but the two high safeties, the shell looks, the quarter looks, teams are just, and the Saints have done it. They've gone big. They're going tackle, like Dave mentioned, tackle eligible. Teams are going 3 tight ends, and they're saying, okay, you're going to run this shell coverage. We're going to run it down your throat.
Yep.
And in order to do that, you got to play 13 personnel, which is 3 tight ends. And so I just think these blocking tight ends are going to get more and more valuable. Team's going to say, yeah, we're going to play 3 tight ends 25% of the time. Okay, Cody is a blocking tight end. Yeah, we'll give you 3 years, $15 million, because you're going to play 30% of the plays. Yep. And we don't give a shit if you're going to catch. You're going to catch 6 balls this year. We don't care. That's not what you're here for.
But you've seen in the league, there's this weird fantasy that they put these tight ends, that they're putting tight ends solo on an island against premier pass rushers. We've seen it all the time, but yet that's what everyone wants. They want a tight end to block on the edge on an island. And so if you are able to do that, oh, dude, you can play for 10 years in the league. And like you said, only have to catch 16 balls a year.
I forget who did it, but it's a meme, and it's Jake Gyllenhaal in a boxing movie. I forget the one that he did it, and it's him.
The Roadhouse?
No, it's not the Roadhouse. It's the boxing movie with Christian Bale, I think. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the movie. And it has.
I know which one. I know which one.
And he says, do you like tight ends? Do you like this tight end for wide receiver reasons or tight end reasons? And then the other picture is Jake Gyllenhaal going, I like him for wide receiver reasons. And the Saints need a tight end. Everybody does these tight ends, and I look at the tight end. I'm like, if you show me a tight end on Saints Twitter and he ain't 250 pounds plus, I ain't interested. Can he put his hand in the dirt? If he can't put his hand in the dirt, I'm not interested. That's what the Saints need. The Saints have a really, really good pass catch tight end. It's Juwan Johnson. They don't need that. They need a dude who can line up and move bodies in the red zone.
Another thing is you want a blocking tight end so you can leave him in there and not tip away, with the formations of what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. You put Juwan Johnson as your tight end. So, defense. He's not blocking. He can't block for crap. It's a pass. That's the beauty of the tight end position that the league's kind of lost. Is they're supposed to confuse the defense. I don't know. He can block, so he may stay in line and help out, or he could, or he could release. We don't know. But this, like, if it's a pure passing tight end, it's basically like you said, it's a glorified slot receiver. So you don't have to worry about him like blocking or doing any run concepts. Like like you're tipped off when they come in. And there's something to say about like a dual player.
Final thing about the actual Titans game is, excuse me, is listen, if the Saints, if you look at the if you look at the Jets game, and you weren't a Saints fan, you'd be like, that was a slow start by the Saints. It was only 9-6 at halftime. That's not really a great start against the bad Jets. But if you're a Saints fan, by 2025 Saints standards, that was a tremendous start to the game, right?
We had a lead.
Like we had a lead, and it wasn't 10-0. So, like, I wonder, can the Saints in nasty weather, can they get off to a good start, even a very good start? I would be interested to see, because we know the Saints aren't going to quit. Like they've shown it all year. Like if they fall behind 14-3 or 10-0, like they're not going to quit. They're just going to keep on coming. But I'd be really curious, like if the weather's nasty in Tennessee and the stadium's 50% empty, and the Saints can get the ball and drive down and score, and then force a 3-and-out on Cam Ward, drive down again and kick a field goal, or lo and behold, have 2 first-quarter touchdowns in this economy. Like, could they get, if the Saints got up 14? If the Saints got up 14-3, would Tennessee be like, fuck this? One more week,
like, and then we're going to Cancun,
And would they roll over? But the Saints have seen, you would say, hey, the Saints seem incapable of it, but with Tyler Shough, the starts have been getting a little bit better. Against Tampa, right? They came out, had a great drive to start the game. Carolina, it was a bit of a rough start, but not dreadful as it was early in the year. Like, are they marching? Are with these last 2 weeks, do you think the Saints have a very good start to the game in them?
I think they do, because Kellen's been doing a lot better with scripted plays. The only problem is if, depending on what the weather's doing, if it is a muck fest, like, I don't know if our guards can handle it. Depends on how well our guards can handle that up the middle pressure. Because if not, like, if it's like, depending on if it's torrential rain, like, the wall is affected in the air going through all that water. Like, that's tough to throw, and you need to rely on your run game. The one thing we cannot rely on.
It could be like Tampa, where like the Saints came out and scored, Tampa came out and scored, the monsoon hit, and they didn't do shit until the monsoon cleared up.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I'm really interested in this game, because I feel, we didn't talk about it on the main show. So
it almost feels like a trap game for the Saints. Like because you got Atlanta to end the season. And you're kind of on a high note. You've got 3 wins. Tennessee, they're not that good, but they've won 2 of their last 3. They played very well against and they played very well against the 49ers, which is, that's a top NFC team. And so you can see, that's just me being a Saints fan. Like, you'd be Saints need to lose, 3-1 win streak, and then lose.
I don't know if you're 5-10, you can have a trap game,
right?
But I will say this: the weather forecast disappoints me in this sense. I was really looking forward to Cam Ward and Tyler Shough, and I just think it would have been way more fun, because even if it would have been cold, right? If it would have been like 35, 40 degrees, you can still have cool and fun offense in cold weather, as long as it's not
just
windy.
Warm up a little bit, and then you're good to go.
I was hoping that the weather would be nice, and like it would have been cool, like to have a shootout game and have the national media be like, "Oh, the two good rookie quarterbacks were doing something really fun and cool in Tennessee," and it ended up 35-31. And I just think
that'd be a hell of a game to watch, and I agree with you.
Tyler Shough, if he's going to make, in my opinion, a serious run at Rookie of the Year because I think Tet McMillan is going to win it because if Carolina, even though they're playing Seattle, if they go 9-8 and he has 1,000 yards and he has a couple of touchdowns and has a big game against Tampa, he's probably going to win it, in my opinion. The only way for Tyler Shough to really elbow his way into this discussion, have a serious chance, to me, he's got to put up a Josh Allen type game. Like Josh Allen's at his peak where you're like, he had 3 touchdowns passing and 2 touchdowns running and 300 yards, and he ran for 50 yards. And oh my God, the Saints have a dude. And like, he like forces his way on Football Night in America on NBC. He forces his way onto whatever national podcast you listen to as your podcast of choice. Like he forces his way onto that. And that's just less likely in crappy weather. And that's why I'm a little bit
a highlight reel that normies look at the on ESPN in the morning. Like, he's not going to get offensive rookie of the year. He'll be in the conversation amongst people who actually know football. But you got to have it's got to be splashy. It's got to be splashy. It's got to be like highlightable. Like you can show like the Tampa game. Like oh yeah, he broke 3 tackles and ran 20 yards for a touchdown. Boom. You got to make it sexy, quick. Like, oh look, like you said, he was 303, and then ran for 2. Like, oh my God, what's going on down there?
Yeah, so the weather makes me a little bit bummed about this game, but I am excited, and I do feel before we get to the mailbag questions from patrons, I do feel like we're heading into a Saints offseason. I can't remember heading into the offseason with this much excitement. Even 2006 with Drew Brees, we look back at it, but going into the 2006 offseason, it was not exciting. It was a lot of, oh my God, the dome is destroyed. No one wants this job. Are the Saints going to be here long term? God, they've got to get this. They've got to get this coach hire right.
Yes.
Who are we going to get? We're not picking number 1. We don't have a quarterback. Like, what are we going to do? Oh, there wasn't excitement at all. Now listen, they signed Drew Brees and they got Sean Payton and they got Reggie Bush, and the excitement, boom, it hit in draft day. But I'm talking about going into it in January, there was not excitement.
No, you don't have months of hype coming into it.
2000, there was a little bit of hope because they got rid of Ditka. They had a ton of cap space, and Randy Mueller came in. He hired Jim Haslett, which was kind of a known commodity. And there was an excitement in that sense. It was, hey, Randy Mueller has said, we're going to spend in free agency. We don't have a first-round pick. I think the Saints had the 2nd or 3rd most cap space back then. And they were like, we have to spend. We have to spend in free agency to make this team competitive. And the Saints had never done that in free agency because Kuharich and Mora didn't understand free agency. So that was a little bit of an excitement, but it was just, it's going to be different. We're finally going to be in the modern NFL with free agency, but it wasn't incredibly exciting. This offseason, if Tyler Shough gives us one more good game and everybody can just stay nice and healthy, we're going to go into this offseason, I would say, the most excited in my lifetime we've been heading into free agency, because we know they got $120 million of cap space from 2027 that they can spend whenever the hell they want. They have their quarterback, they have their coach. Like, it's like, I think free agency is going to be incredibly exciting, and that's really, really cool to me to be in there.
And the draft's gonna be fun, because we're like, oh man, just a few pieces. We got this. We're in a weak division, so winning that's not out of the realm, and then that's in the playoffs, and then, hey, playoffs are playoffs, man. Anything can happen.
Oh, 100%. And look, the NFC is, in my opinion, for next year is wide open because the Rams, who I think are the best team, Matthew Stafford, yes, he's been incredible this year, but you look at him, he's old. And like, he yes, he's incredible mentally, but he needs to be physically elite. And when you have that kind of body and you're 38, like all it takes is one hit and suddenly kaboom, it's over. Right.
Done.
So I just
He's
think
basically had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Sorry, but go ahead. No, I was just saying, like Stafford, he's basically had Tommy John surgery. He's old, and all you have to do is pop him one good time. That's it.
So I'm just saying, optimism's running wild for 2026. Thomas, let's get to some patron questions.
All right. So first question comes from the usual suspect, Saints Rabbit, and he asks, how high is Cam Jordan on your personal all-time favorite Saints list?
Man, he's really high. Just because that son of a bitch, to me he's top 5. I don't know that I would list in front, but he's top 5. He might be even top 3, just because he understood the Falcons rivalry better.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Than anybody else. And if you're a fan of The Godfather, they have a quote where Frankie Five Fingers says, he hated those Rosado brothers more than I did. And that's what I feel about Cam Jordan. He hates the Falcons more than the fans do. And a lot of the Saints players, they kind of would give lip service to the Falcons. But Cam Jordan always went to the line and then would just foot over the line. Like, he hates the Falcons. And let me tell you something. If he is able to dominate the Falcons in potentially his final game of the Saint as a Saint, you know he will talk mad shit in that post-game press conference. And I want that more than anything. I like he's my top 5. He's been incredible. And I know we talk about the 2017 draft as incredible and all-time Saint, but the 2011 draft for the Saints, they got Cam Jordan and Mark Ingram. They got the best defensive end in Saints history and the leading rusher in Saints history. Like, that's pretty goddamn special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not shabby. Not shabby at all. That, and I love how he still trolls Matt Ryan to this day.
Oh, it's so good. Thomas, what's next?
Oh, that was a quick one. All right, next one, final one from Jeff Drunken. And he asks, who had a better weekend? Too bad Dave's not here. Tulane football or Jake Paul?
If you aren't familiar with Jake Paul because you're an old person, Jake Paul is a internet famous person that
he's a YouTuber.
Box.
Yep,
YouTuber.
He's a YouTuber.
He's a YouTuber, and he finally boxed a real person, and he got his ass kicked.
Handed to him. And broken jaw, everything. Had a screw in it. But he got paid, though.
He did.
The thing is with Tulane, though, I feel bad because, Tulane losing and in the fashion that they lost gives a lot of fire to the proponents of, G5 doesn't need to be here. It kind of validated that opinion. I was hoping Tulane would keep it close, so that way the G5 would still be invited and they'd still be in the conversation. The way they lost to Ole Miss, and they lost to Ole Miss with a brand new coach, not Lane Kiffin, and so it hurts it doesn't just hurt Tulane. It hurts all the Group 5.
Well, I'll say this about the Group of 5. College football, I love it less and less each year because I want LSU to compete and win national titles, yes. But my main enjoyment that I get out of college football is I want to play Bama every year. I want to play
Yes.
Auburn every year. I want to play Florida. I love those rivalries. The Auburn games have been with LSU. Auburn game was like
Auburn
it
games
was
are
like
insane.
snorting cocaine and riding a motorbike. Like they have, I can name you 5 LSU Auburn games that were just bat shit insane, and I'm gonna miss it. And I don't like the fact that eventually college football is going to be like 30 to 40 name brand teams, and it's going to be NFL light. And the players need to make money because everybody in college football makes money.
Yes.
So should the players. But I don't like the portal, the fact that they can get in the portal every year and these small schools get their players rated from them after 1 year, and it sucks. And I just think private equity never made anything good ever. And I just worry that college football is going to look like the NFL light. And yes, the ratings for the games will still be good and people will still watch the playoffs. But it's going to make me sad within a decade that like there's 40 schools and the other 80 or whatever they have are just completely irrelevant or gone. I don't know what's going to happen. And
Farm
I
teams.
I hate it.
Because it sucks. Because, the running back from Missouri, Ahmad Hardy, real good.
Yeah.
Guess where he played last year? ULM. He was at my school and stuff. And because of the transfer portal, what happens? All of our good players get poached. Rather than him playing for like 3 years and us having like a good run, you're not going to see like this, like every 4 years, this random team comes out of nowhere because they've all stayed together. They've had the same consistency. They've coached. They've grown together. You're not going to have that anymore because I saw something today, like TJ Finley, the old LSU quarterback. He's a father of 3. And he is now going to go to his 7th team in 7 years.
Yeah.
Through the transfer portal.
I don't know. It just makes me, it just like, I want
part of college football was the regionality of it,
Yeah.
We both went to school in Louisiana, but we're just one state over. Our schools play Texas schools because we're right by each other. There's that fun of talking crap with each other rather than playing it all across the nation. You lose that.
Yeah. No, Bomani Jones says college football is a vibe sport. It's vibes.
Yes.
It's rivalries. And I worry about it. And like, the G5 teams, they don't want their own playoff. They want to be part of the college football playoff. And if you ask Boise, if you ask Tulane, the fun that they have is going against the big boys and knocking them off and creating a memory forever. They much rather have that chance than having a quote unquote championship that no one cares about and no one's gonna watch. Like, did you watch the FCS championship? I fucking didn't.
No.
So it's just annoying. But I don't think, in all seriousness, like Jake Paul, I think Jake Paul definitely had the worst weekend, even though he got paid too. Because I think Tulane, the memory of Ole Miss, it's not like they're not even going to remember it. What they're going to remember it is the Roll Motherfucking Wave hoodie, the championship, the clinching the playoff spot, the amazing overachieving season they had, and the playoff loss will just be a blip. And I think that's how G5 teams want it. And it just like college football, it makes me sad because I think the people that are younger than us, they're gonna grow up and it's not gonna be the same.
It's not gonna be the special thing.
They're gonna miss it. They're missing out. Where I'm not an old man where I'm like, oh, back in my day it was better. The NFL was better than. No. Most things are way better now, and it's cooler. But I think people are gonna look back and be like, oh yeah, that was cool when LSU played Auburn all the time, and they had the SEC West and the East, and these teams they played each other, and they played each other every year, and they cared about it, and it was cool. And I think there's gonna be a lost generation. They're gonna be like, yeah, I don't understand that.
And you can watch the players grow and develop. Like, you had an awesome freshman. You're like, oh man, he's gonna be awesome for the next 2 years. You know, we got him. Him, and just wait till the revenge game next year.
Yeah, and you know, the teams like Tulane, you would build up to it, and you'd be like, you'd build and build and build, and then you'd have that year where like we went to the Cotton Bowl and we beat Caleb Williams. Now you can't do that because to have your teams, 3/4 of your teams going to the portal, and your core guys those three-star guys that you located that were really 5-star guys and second, third, fourth round NFL draft picks, the big teams just come and steal them. And I know the players deserve to get paid, but it's that, to me, it's lame.
No, I agree totally.
So anyway, we went off path. We went off path with college football, but anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the show. If you're listening to this version, you have a little bit more time to get the 50% off annual patron membership. You should do it before the end of the year. Support the show, treat yourself, even maybe become a black and gold member like Cody, and you could be a co-host when we need you. So thanks to Cody for being amazing fill-in pinch hitter. Thanks to Thomas running the show back in Poland. Thomas, treat that fish nice in your bathtub. Until then, the bar is closed.